So I have a tendency to, a lot of energy, go quickly. I'm trying to slow it down a little bit because there's so much. And it's important to you to understand what's really happening here. So number one, politics is just overwhelming everything else in this country right now. And most people don't even know. Because they don't pay attention and they're watching news operations that are being dishonest. So they don't really know what's happening. So today, the Attorney General Merrick Garland and Congress butted heads. So the Republican House is threatening and probably will issue a contempt citation to Garland. And Garland doesn't care because he knows that the Supreme Court, if it gets there in 5 years, would say no, the executive branch, which is what he's under, doesn't really have to honor subpoenas by Congress because they're two separate, legislative Congress and executive, the presidency and his cabinet members. Garland knows that. So, but nevertheless, Congress is going to go, you're in contempt because you can't give us or won't give us the audio recording of President Biden being interviewed by Robert Hur about the documents in his garage, in Biden's garage. And Hur says, I'll give you the transcript, but I'm not going to charge Biden because he's too befuddled. He's an old man. That's a quote from Hur. Well, Garland doesn't want you or me or anybody to see on tape how befuddled Biden was. So he's holding it back. That's wrong. All right, Merrick Garland is a public servant and should release that video so that everybody, every voter, can see the president's mental state. There's no question about that. This is a suppression of information. And the Republicans in the House are right to issue a contempt citation, but it's not going anywhere. That is our system. Okay? Checks, balances, and all that. And sometimes, many times, the truth is the casualty. Okay. So the talking points memo is about we the people being overwhelmed at this point by political controversy. Okay. So what's the difference between the Trump trial and the Hunter Biden trial? There really isn't much difference because both situations would never have come to a trial if it were anybody who was ordinary. All right, so New York City never would have conducted a felony trial on business situations. They never have. So we know that. But because it was Donald Trump, and these were progressive judges and prosecutors and attorney generals and district attorneys, they did it to get Trump. Everybody who's honest knows that. Hunter Biden, same thing. Very few Americans, even if they lie on their gun forms, even if they are drug addicted, okay, would be charged with a felony by the federal government. They don't take the time. Those are low-level beefs. But because Hunter Biden had a laptop where he said all kinds of crazy things, and he was seen with the gun and everything else, the feds had to bring the case. Garland didn't want to bring it. He tried to, as you remember, sleaze in a plea deal that would have exempted Hunter Biden from any other prosecutions. And the judge says, I'm not going to do this. So Hunter Biden wound up being convicted of 3 felonies. But if his name were Hunter Simon, he would have been slapped on the wrist or not prosecuted at all. Okay. So when you report this, you don't get an honest take because the media is rooting, not reporting, it's rooting for one side or the other. And when you root, your objectivity flies out the window. It's impossible for you to relate the truth to the American people. Now, let's take me, for example. I don't root for anybody, okay? I want the best for you, the American people, and for the country. not rooting. All right? I have clearly stated on this program and backed it up 1,000 ways that Joe Biden is the second worst president in our history. And when you read Confronting the Presidents, I will lay out that evidence so clearly. Now, people believe what they want to believe. I understand. I'm not going to convince everybody. But I know, and I can prove, that Biden is as incompetent as anyone, any president other than James Buchanan, who nobody knows anything about. All right. So in the face of that, I don't want Joe Biden to be president. I don't want it. He's hurting everybody. His policies are insane. His mental acuity is tragic at this point. And we have proved it over and over and over and over again. But I'm not rooting for a party. I just want him gone. And on the other side, the argument is made that Trump is just as bad or worse, and those people, those hate Trumpers, want him gone. But in my assessment, the way Trump governed the nation, light years better than the way Biden has. And again, we will prove that tonight. So both the Trump and the Hunter Biden trials were politically motivated. There's no question they were. All right, we have to accept that because that is the truth. Now, obviously, the Trump situation, 10 times, 100 times more important than Hunter Biden. But the upcoming tax evasion trial in California that begins in September, okay, September 5th, is really important because this could implicate President Biden. That's why Hunter Biden will plead this out. He will plead guilty. He will not go to trial here because his father will be dragged in. Now, I have a shootout with Sean Hannity on Hannity's radio program today, and you might want to hear this. It's on BillO'Reilly.com. Because Hannity comes at it from a far different place than I come at it from. We arrive at the same conclusion, Hannity and O'Reilly, but we're coming at it differently. And it was a pretty lively debate, I have to say. So Hunter Biden is important only because he may have participated in corruption with his father, the then vice president, and then now the president. If that is proved, and the only people looking at it are the House committees, this is the biggest scandal of all. The FBI and the Justice Department not even investigating whether a former vice president, Joe Biden, took money in relationship to his brother and his son. Not even investigating it. Even though on that laptop, Hunter Biden clearly says, I got to set aside money for the big guy. Now, everybody thinks the big guy is Biden. In a court of law, you couldn't prove that. The big guy, Hunter Biden, coming and go, oh, no, it was Tony Soprano I was talking about, or whoever. You know what the game is. All right. So forget about the tax evasion thing. Hunter Biden's going to plead guilty. And after the election, if Biden wins or loses, he will pardon his son, no matter what he says now. That will happen. Now, remember, I'm making predictions here. Okay. Enter the media. This is the final part of the memo. So, because the media is rooting, all of them, all of it is rooting, some more obviously than others. They're going to suppress information that hurts their guy and exploit information that helps their guy. We don't do that. All information is presented to you for your consideration. Okay? Which is why we are prospering beyond belief. I said to somebody today, at my advanced age, I'm working harder than I have ever worked in my entire life. I'm running 3 corporations here. Okay? TV, radio, and books. And the amount of incoming from all. It's staggering because we're worldwide now. And it's because people are catching on. They can't trust the networks or the cables. They can't trust them. And this is serious stuff. This affects your life directly. If Biden gets 4 more years, all of us will suffer grievously. Every American will suffer if he's reelected. And that's a memo. You all know that due to cancel culture, Mike Lindell and MyPillow no longer have the support of their box stores or shopping channels. So they want to pass those savings directly to you. Thanks to their dedicated employees, MyPillow has hundreds of products, some you may not even know about. To spread the word, they are having a $25 extravaganza. For just $25 each, you can get 2-pack multi-use MyPillows, 6-pack towel sets, sandals, and more. For the first time, get premium MyPillows with all new Giza fabric, any size, any loft level, for just $25. This amazing offer will not last long. So please visit mypillow.com or call 1-800-869-0298. Use promo code BILL for free shipping on any order over $75 today. That's mypillow.com, code BILL. California is being forced to repay millions, $53 million to the feds after an audit. Okay? California illegally gave Medicaid payments to migrants in this country illegally to the tune of $53 million. So remember, federal government gives states money to fund Medicaid. California used some of that money to pay for the bills, healthcare bills of people in the country illegally. So now I got to pay it back. This is all because of Governor Gavin Newsom, who, when he took over in 2019, California had a surplus of $22 billion. That means they had $22 billion more than they needed to pay the bills. Now, 5 years later, California is $520 billion in debt under Gavin Newsom. There you go, California. There you go. No way this man will ever run for national public. Well, he could run. He'll never win. Okay. The Center for Immigration Studies, which is a conservative outfit, okay, estimates that sooner or later, the federal government is going to provide amnesty for about 10 million migrants already here. Sooner or later. Okay. What will that cost in entitlements? $1.3 trillion. And you wonder why we have a $34 trillion debt? There you go. Washington Free Beacon. This is a newspaper, very conservative newspaper, all right? And it did an investigation into a lawsuit filed by Black Lives Matter Global Foundation against the Tides Foundation. This is a fascinating story. Again, you will hear this nowhere else. Okay. So, the Tides Foundation is backed by people like George Soros, and it raises money for progressive causes. So it raised, after the death of George Floyd, it raised an enormous amount of money for Black Lives Matter. But Black Lives Matter says that Tides Foundation didn't give it the money, $9 million. So they're suing. Black Lives Matter suing Tides. I would call George Soros in if I were Black Lives Matter. Anyway, Tides says, hey, we don't know where the $9 million went. You got to love this. So this is a lawsuit in California. We're going to follow it. Okay. Black Lives Matter says they got shorted $9 million that Tides Foundation raised for them. And the Tides Foundation doesn't say no. They say, we don't know where the money is. Okay, there you go. Smart Life, garlic. All right, I had some spaghetti and clam sauce last night at my local Italian place, and that was good. They know how to do it. That's a hard dish to make. But they put the little garlic chips in the sauce, in the red sauce. I take the garlic chips out. I'm not a big garlic guy. If Irish diets, if you go to Ireland, not a lot of garlic. Not a lot of onions, not a lot of peppers, not a lot of spicy stuff. Ireland is not India, okay? So my stomach, if I eat this kind of spicy stuff, little rebellion going on. So I'm not a big garlic guy. But, Nutrients Journal says if you eat a considerable amount of garlic, it's going to neutralize somewhat your sugar glucose, which is killing everybody with diabetes and obesity and all of that. So garlic basically wards that off, which is why, I guess, Dracula doesn't like it. So if you ever get attacked by Dracula and you have a garlic meal, he's going to leave you alone. Okay, he doesn't like garlic. But they say eat garlic because it's going to ease inflammation as you get older in your body, block free radicals. I don't really know who they are. The only free radicals I know are at Columbia University. And they will block unstable molecules. That doesn't sound good. And anyway, that's a Smart Life tip. And here is another Smart Life tip. If you ingest a lot of garlic, you must have gum, really good gum. No mints. Don't buy that mint thing. Mints don't work. That's 6-7 minutes. You got to get gum. You got to get that moisturize in your mouth, and you got to be powerful gum. Okay? Just a word to the wise if you want to have any friends. As another critical election nears, America is gripped by anxiety. Recent studies show that 56% are feeling dread about the upcoming presidential vote in November. That's why I stand with Amac. It's more than a senior discount organization. Amac fights for common sense and a return to traditional American values. Visit amac.us/O'Reilly to grab an exclusive election year special, a 4-year Amac membership for just $30. Members get access to money-saving benefits, the Amac magazine, free Social Security and Medicare advice, a trusted voice in Washington, and a community of like-minded patriots. Take advantage of this election year special. 4 years for just $30. Be a part of the solution. By joining AMAC, you strengthen a movement dedicated to preserving our cherished principles. Please join now at amac.us/O'Reilly. That's amac.us/O'Reilly. Being in debt is like sinking in quicksand. You become trapped. The harder you struggle, the deeper you sink. If you are trapped in debt, here is a lifeline. Done with Debt.com. Done with Debt has created a brilliant new strategy with one goal in mind: get you out of debt quickly and permanently. They stand between you and your bill collectors. They negotiate a plan to end your debt permanently without bankruptcy and without loans. But you need to contact Done with Debt right away because some debt solutions expire and you don't want to miss out. Go to donewithdebt.com and get a free consultation. Talk with one of their experts and discover a strategy that will end your debt for good. That's donewithdebt.com. Again, donewithdebt.com. All right, final thought of the day. Obviously, I'm invested in books and want you to read my books and other books as well. So we are the best-selling nonfiction authors in the world. And I'm bragging, I know, but isn't that incredible? I remember way back when I couldn't get a book published, I go, am I ever going to get a book published? My first book was a novel, Those Who Trespass. I love that book, by the way. We still will sell it. You can get it. But anyway, we sell more copies, nonfiction, than anybody else in the world. And now there's a study by a outfit called Real Simple, online source of practical information. The benefits of reading. Here they are. Increases intelligence, okay. Makes you more empathetic. Wow. Helps you better understand the world, content. Reduces risks of Alzheimer's. That's true. It stimulates the brain. Helps you relax, improves your sleep, encourages your lifespan, increases your lifespan, and encourages long time reading. Now, at night, before I go to sleep, I always have a book. And I know a lot of people read on the dopey machines. That's not the same thing. But I have 4 or 5 books stacked. And I can read for about anywhere from 15 minutes to a half hour, but then my eyes get heavy and I go right to sleep. So I'm learning before I go to it. I'm a practical guy. And it's dying out now. All right, the book reading thing, it's dying out because of this dopey machine. Because here, you only have to read 3-4 minutes and you get what you want. And then you get a book that's 300 pages. Oh, no. Come on. Older people, mostly older Americans, buy books because they like them. You can get addicted to book reading. That's a good addiction. So keep that in mind. Thank you for watching and listening to the No Spin News. Have a great weekend. We will see you on Monday. Thank you for watching the No Spin News. To watch the full episode anytime on BillO'Reilly.com, please sign up to become a premium or concierge member. Visit BillO'Reilly.com to sign up and start watching today.